Hi, everyone. So first of all, I think I have to start with an apology. If you looked at the agenda, you probably expected me to have a bit more hair and to be blonde and to be a woman. Unfortunately, Megan couldn't make it, but hey, I'm here. So my name is Fabian Schvartzman, and I've been working at AeroFarms for the last 2.5 years in our strategic partnership team, leading mostly innovation and looking at what our partnership we can do in order to increase innovation in the field and to basically use our system for other uses. And it could be for other crops, same crops, different uses. And I'm really excited. So one example of a partnership that we have that is public is our partnership with a company called Jugano, an Israeli lighting company that we're trying to develop together a set of tunable lights that will be cost-effective and most beneficial for agriculture. And actually today, I'm really excited about the talk today because we're going to share some data that we never shared before. So you guys are up for a treat. So I'm sure you've all seen this slide a million times already. The agriculture field is a giant field. Like there's a giant opportunity. Unfortunately, the way that the crops are being grown today in the field, there are issues with inconsistent quality, the availability. As was mentioned here already twice, the rate of land degradation is just getting bigger and bigger. The amount of water that we use. And then even after all the effort that is put into agriculture, we still get a product that is not that fresh. And it generates tremendous amounts of food waste. So in the last few years, AeroFarms, along with other indoor farming companies, are trying to create a new way of farming, which is indoor farming. This is roughly how our trays look like in a very good day and with a perfect lighting. But what we do, so we grow aeroponically, which means that we use mist underneath the roots in order to water the plants. We use our cloth, which is an AeroFarms patent that was developed by one of our co-founders. And this is how it looks in large scale. So this is, as we know today, the largest indoor vertical farm in the world. We can produce up to 500,000 pounds of baby leaves and microgreens a year. We produce it being up to 390 times more productive per square feet compared to growing in the field and using up to 95% less water. AeroFarms has been leading the way for many aspects. We've received many awards, including the Fast Company, including being on the list of Fast Company most innovative companies in the last 2 years. We've been at the Global Cleantech 100 company. And lately, we received also the Ethical Corporation Award. So up until a few months ago, our mission was to try to grow the most nutritious food and healthy food locally. And we changed the mission recently to being on a mission to grow the best plants possible for the betterment of humanity. One of the reasons we did that transition is that while we know that we can grow food and we can increase the value of the food chain, we know that we can do much more than that. And we can grow plants that are for pharma uses, we can grow for food and fragrances, and basically whatever is out there, we can grow. So how are we growing things for the betterment of humanity? So we have 6 pillars, which are really important for us. We have very experienced engineers that help with our mechanical design. We have a very experienced operation team. We have a gigantic team, relatively speaking, of plant scientists and plant geneticists. We have our fully controlled environment, and everything is eventually packed with our fully controlled agriculture platform and our predictive analytics that help us get better and better with every round of growth. And so this is one of our first partnerships that we had, or sort of partnerships. So we received, 2 years ago, we received a grant from the Foundation in Food and Agriculture Research. We received a $1 million matching grant in order to try to improve the quality, and by that I mean the flavor and the nutrient density of leafy greens. We just find, we, like, the goal was to try to make kids eat more vegetables eventually. And as you see from what Dr. Sally Rocky said, that she coined the term precision plants. So actually, in the last year, the foundation, the FAR in short, started another initiative called Precision Indoor Plants, which is trying to bring more crops into indoor farming. AeroFarms, and there were selected 5 crops, and actually AeroFarms is part of the executive committee for this plant indoor precision, or PIP in short. And here, what I'm going to share today, and this is really the first time that we're sharing it publicly, is the results of the research that we did in this FAR project. So the research objective was to use AeroFarms technology to stimulate production of phytochemicals, particularly those with human health value. And how we did that, we basically, since we can control the environment, we tweaked 4 of the parameters that we have, which are temperature, plant nutrients, relative humidity, and lighting, in order to try to produce plants that will have several different characteristics. The way that we did the analysis, this is a project that has been in partnership with Rutgers University. So from our side, we used our machine vision systems, our sensors that are spread all over the facility, our automatic seeder to make sure that our production is consistent, and our multispectral 3D scanner. On the Rutgers side, that's where we did the phytochemical content analysis, and one other thing that was actually quite interesting is that we have a trained sensory panel. Now, I don't know how many people know what a trained sensory panel is, but it's something that it's a pain in the butt to train. It takes like 2 months, and it's a group of people that are getting trained on each and every flavor. And you'll see, I'll show you a little bit the results that they got to in the end. So with our machine vision system, we can get a lot of information on the morphology of the plants. We can understand what is the leaf size, what are the leaf colors, and with that, try to deduce some information on the phytochemical content, even before doing the formal analysis. Then we use also the spectral imaging equipment, which looks really, really cool. And this gives us a bit more information on the broader morphology. If the machine vision, we can only measure one leaf, here we can look at the entire architecture of the plant and get even more information. What we saw in our experiments is that we were able to increase the yields in all the 4 varieties that we tried. This is specifically with tweaking light intensity, but we saw up to 30% increase in yield just with tweaking the wavelengths or the intensity. But that's not all we were able to do. As we mentioned, some of the phytochemicals that are good for human consumption are related to colors. So what you can see here on the right-hand side photo, you can see it's the same variety that was grown under different lighting or different conditions, and you can see how we can change the color of the crop. Now, usually that color, that redness is coming from anthocyanin, which is a potent antioxidant. So we could, just with playing with the lighting, we could get more of that antioxidant. And on the left-hand side, you can see how cool and how much like a discotheque our facility looked when we did that experiment. Another thing that we played around with is the flavonoid content. So flavonoids are also a very important antioxidant, and you can see here that with just playing a little bit or tweaking our environment, we were able to get roughly around 6x more flavonoids versus our control. So this is quite significant if you think about it. So here's a photo of our sensory panel. So you can see that we trained the sensory panel on 20 different flavors. And if you can see, the dashed lines is our control. And then under conditions 1 and 2, we were able to manipulate the flavor. This means that we can use our environment in order to really make the greens more tastier, or at least taste more like horseradish. Eventually, what we're doing here is we're creating a new category of food. We can create greens that have more phytochemicals and that are richer in flavor. So basically, it will be creating something that is both healthier and better and tasting better, which usually don't go together. And we can take the learnings that we got from this project, and we're already doing it, and implementing it on other projects that we have and other crops. We're at the point that we're located today only in Newark, New Jersey, and we're looking to expand both domestically and globally. We have behind us a very strong team of investors that are located everywhere around the world. And now I know that the next slide is going to be a video that will start playing automatically, so I'll prime it with it. The next video that we're going to see is a video that Dell created for us. So I mentioned briefly that we have a predictive analytics platform. It was built by us with a collaboration with Dell. Last year, we started this partnership in which, this video was also presented in a Dell event where our CEO, David Rosenberg, was at the same stage with Michael Dell. And this is the video.
Who would have thought you could grow a plant in a warehouse instead of a field? Without sun, without soil. We're doing it, and we're not only doing it on an experimental level, we're doing it on a commercial level. Today we focus on leafy greens. We believe we could grow anything. Our vision is to build farms in cities all over the world to allow everyone to have access to fresh, great-tasting, healthy food all year round. The fact that we could grow plants using 95% less water, 0 pesticides, as much as 390 times the productivity per square foot as a field farmer shows what technology can do. We're able to understand the plants better than anyone ever in the history of farming, and it's by the data. And this is why the relationship with Dell Technologies is so valuable. We are collecting all of these data points of what we're giving the plant. What spectrum of light, what nutrients, how do we improve quality, taste, texture. We're using data analytics and becoming better farmers. At the end of the day, it's about how do we deliver a better product to the customer.
This is AeroFarms Baby Kale. This is going to be packed the flavor of kale. The watercress had those peppery notes. The bok choy is super juicy. This is what I love about AeroFarms, is that it's like technology that's allowing people to farm better and smarter, and it makes really delicious food.
The world needs a new paradigm of how we're going to feed this planet. AeroFarms is illustrative of what technology can do to provide more with less.
Okay, so thank you so much for listening, and I'll be around if you have any questions.
All right, thank you, Fabian.